Right, I'm here at the City of Ontario Museum. We're gonna check this out today. I've been here one other time several years ago, so I'm interested to see if it's what it was like the first time I was here, or if they've changed things up a little bit. So, come along with me, won't you? Of course you will. The museum itself first opened in 1979 and is housed in Ontario's former City Hall, a historical landmark funded by the Works Progress Administration. In 2019, the museum celebrated its 40th anniversary, and it extended its vision, embracing long-term planning to ensure that the museum's capacity matches the growth in value to the community and visitors. So a lot of history that you can take a look at here, you can take in. I loved all the old pictures that they have. And my only critique would be I wish they had even more of them. Orchards and citrus was a big thing here in this part of the Inland Empire. But I love these old pictures, and there's a lot of artifacts here. Here's another great picture of the mountains. And then you've got some pictures from old Ontario, and this picture here with the burro, the mule out front. There used to be tracks that went all the way up the center of Euclid Avenue, and those they would have that trolley, and it was run by mules or donkeys. And those tracks were there up until the late 70s before they took them out. So here you've got a lot of different artifacts associated with the area. Not only were there lots of orchards, but there were vineyards, lots of vineyards and lots of wineries in the area. And so they have a little bit of display showcasing those things as well. So no shortage of artifacts and history that you can read about from the City of Ontario. There you've got some old crates that say Latimer on them. Charles Latimer ran the San Antonio Orchard Company and was on the city council and was elected mayor of Ontario for a period of time. So the Latimer family has been here for generations. And I was just reading about the Latimer house that's on Euclid Avenue in Ontario, and it's still owned by his family, third generation Latimers. Here we see a small display about Graber olives. Gonna have to visit that place, I think, in one of our future videos. Run by the Graber family. Graber olives are a staple of Ontario, California, and have been around for years. And people who've tried these olives, they just love them. Love those Graber olives. Haven't been there in a while, so may have to make a video of that at some point. Here's an artist rendition of a railroad stop here at Ontario, California. Really thought that picture was neat. And there includes some information here on the Chaffee team, which is really George Chaffee and his brother. The Chaffee brothers were of significant importance in helping to settle and start the area of Ontario. And they also had help from Luther Holt. Of course, Holt Avenue that runs through Ontario, named after Luther Holt, and a lot of places named in Ontario named after the Chaffee brothers. You got Chaffee High School, Chaffee College. So the Chaffee brothers were a big part of the history of this particular area, and in particular, Ontario, California. There's another shot, old shot, looking up Euclid Avenue. You can see Ontario here, built on the grid. So many cities built on the grid around here. It was seen as the model colony. And they'd had a lot of experience with innovations and things like that. So they were very instrumental in the history of this particular town. So when you come here to this museum, you're going to hear a lot about the Chaffee brothers. Again, love these old pictures. My only critique is I just wish there were more of them, because I could spend all day just looking through old pictures of the area, comparing it to what I know now and what I see every day. And really would be really neat to be able to see some old pictures from when I was a kid. A lot of these pictures, they go back far beyond that, way earlier than the 70s when I was a child. But I still enjoy seeing these old pictures of Euclid Avenue and Ontario. Another little display of George Chafee. People thought he was a very handsome and well set up man. Well, good for him. A little bit of citrus there. Well, hello, ladies. It was neat, and that sign there that was above where these ladies are standing said Ontario, California, population was 4,500 people. Pretty cool. Of course, the population of Ontario, California today is 177,963. So they've grown quite a bit over the years. You get some pictures of settling in, boarding houses, modest family homes. As we continue to look at the history of Ontario, California, here's a display that talks about electricity in the area, the funding of the Pacific Electric Heating Company. General Electric had a plant in Ontario for a period of time, and so you've got a little bit of display here of the history of that. Early electricity, San Antonio Light and Power Company, Ontario Electric Company, Ontario Power Company, and of course then they have some stuff on General Electric. And look at all these irons. I thought that was pretty cool. Great display of old irons, including one down there in the lower left, looks like a magic lamp. And some, looks like coffee pots there, percolators on the top. I thought that was pretty cool. My favorite iron was this one that we're going to look at here. It's covered in paint. Gold paint. A golden iron. That was pretty cool. Of course, Kaiser Steel was really big in the area. Fontana is where the Kaiser Steel plant was. So there's a little bit of information here about Kaiser and GE and the post-war period. Oh, I love that picture there, because there was a picture of the old Ontario Plaza and the Market Basket. Market Basket was still around when I was a kid. And there's a picture of the 10 freeway, Interstate 10. Here's a display about talking about the All States Picnic, this one from 1948. They still have the All States Picnic every 4th of July, set up picnic tables all through the center of Euclid Avenue in Ontario, and you can go there and have a pancake breakfast. A little bit of display about Ontario in the 21st century as the city continues to grow and make improvements. So a little bit of current history here. And some information about Ontario International Airport. Ontario's first airport was Latimer Field, so that's going back to Charles Latimer. The Latimer family had a lot of input, a lot of support for the town of Ontario. And in Upland at the San Antonio Community Hospital, there's a whole wing named after Latimer, the Latimer Pavilion. There's a shot of the old Ontario Airport, part of the old terminal there, which actually expanded, became bigger before they went ahead and built the brand new terminal that's used today. And this was the highlight of the museum. This is the neon Thunderbird that sat atop the Thunderbird Lane sign in Ontario, California. And we used to go there and bowl all the time. Great place to bowl. But like a lot of places, over the course of time, there were new modern bowling alleys that opened up, and it just couldn't keep up. And so it is no longer there. It was on Mountain Avenue, just south of Interstate 10. Really missed that place. Here's a plaque for the Ontario Motor Speedway. I was a little disappointed that there wasn't more regarding the Ontario Motor Speedway, which was a huge part of the city's history, at least through the decade of the 70s. Since this was all they had, referring to the Ontario Motor Speedway, I decided to include a couple images for you. One picture is of the grandstands from the outside of the track, and the other is an overhead shot showing what is currently located at the location today. And we finish up our self-guided tour inside the Ontario Museum with some artifacts dealing with education and schooling in the Ontario, California area. And you can't really talk about school in Ontario, California without mentioning Chaffey High School, which used to be Chaffey College, still operating today as part of the Chaffey Joint Union High School District. Go Tigers! So I'm finishing up my self-guided tour around the Ontario Museum by just taking this little path here. Takes you up here to Euclid Avenue. There's some sitting areas, and there is this big fountain. Again, well worth the visit if you ever have the time to stop by here. And if you're from the city of Ontario or from the Inland Empire around this area, you might want to check it out. Here at the old City Hall building, Ontario and Holt. And we'll finish up by getting a shot of the front of this building here. And one of my favorite things about it is just all the local history and the old pictures. There are quite a few old pictures in there. I could just spend hours looking at old pictures if they had more and more of those old pictures from when I was young and even before that. I love looking at that stuff. Pretty neat. So yes, free admission here at the Ontario Museum, located in the old Ontario City Hall building at Holt and Euclid, and they're open every day from 12 to 4. So be sure to come by and visit when you get a chance. All right, we'll see you later. Wait, they've got a horseshoe area here? You could play horseshoes here? Does anyone even play horseshoes anymore? Do any of you who are watching this even know what horseshoes is? Well, if you want to play horseshoes, you can come here to the City of Ontario Museum. Space is available now.